Theodore Kaczynski grew up a child prodigy who was accepted into Harvard University at just 16 years of age. But instead of going on to greatness, by the age of 27 he was living a simple and isolated life in a handmade cabin in the woods of Montana. Soon after, he embarked on a campaign of domestic terrorism, killing 3 people and injuring 23 others through a series of mail bombings across nearly 20 years. Welcome to Infamous Episodes. This is the story of one of the most notorious figures in recent history, the Unabomber. Theodore John Kaczynski, commonly known as Ted, was born on May 22, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois, to Wanda and Theodore Richard Kaczynski. Growing up, Kaczynski's intelligence became evident at a young age. He demonstrated exceptional intellectual abilities and academic aptitude. Kaczynski's remarkable talent in mathematics and problem solving quickly set him apart from other children. Recognizing his exceptional potential, Kaczynski was accepted into Harvard University at the remarkable age of just 16, beginning his undergraduate studies in 1958. During his time at Harvard, Kaczynski's brilliance continued to shine, and he immersed himself in his studies. He pursued a major in mathematics, delving deep into complex mathematical theories and challenging problem sets. He showcased a deep understanding of mathematical concepts, displaying a unique ability to solve intricate problems and formulate innovative solutions. His exceptional performance at Harvard hinted at a promising future for the young prodigy. However, despite his brilliance, Kaczynski struggled to connect socially and felt isolated from his peers, leading to a growing disillusionment with modern society and its values. As Kaczynski progressed through his studies at Harvard, his growing disillusionment and disconnection from society intensified. The mounting pressures and demands of academia, coupled with his introspective nature, led him to question the implications of technological advancements and their potential to inflict harm upon society. Kaczynski's contemplation of the consequences of modern technology stemmed from his observations of the rapid changes occurring in the post-World War II era. The rise of industrialization and the increasing reliance on machines and automation raised concerns within him. He became increasingly troubled by the encroachment of technology on human autonomy, personal freedom, and the overall well-being of individuals. His intellectual pursuits exposed him to a wide range of philosophical and socio-political ideas, including the works of influential thinkers such as Henry David Thoreau and Jacques Ellul. These writings, emphasizing the dangers of technology and the erosion of individual liberty, further fueled Kaczynski's apprehensions. Kaczynski's disenchantment with modern society was also influenced by the cultural and political climate of the 1960s and 70s. He witnessed the tumultuous civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, and the rise of countercultural movements that questioned traditional norms and values. These societal upheavals reinforced his belief that the rampant development and utilization of technology were contributing to the degradation of human relationships, the erosion of privacy, and the loss of the individual agency. In the late 1970s, Kaczynski was living on his own in a handmade wooden cabin in Montana when his life took a sinister turn. He embarked on a long and deadly campaign of bombings that would span for nearly 2 decades. From his isolated cabin, Kaczynski meticulously planned and executed a series of bombings, targeting a wide range of institutions, including universities, airlines, and technology-related organizations. These targets were carefully selected to symbolize what he perceived as the pernicious influence of modern industrial society. Kaczynski sought to create widespread fear and disrupt the institutions he believed were responsible for the degradation of humanity. Each bomb Kaczynski constructed was a chilling testament to his intelligence and meticulous attention to detail. He honed his bomb-making skills through years of experimentation, combining his knowledge of chemistry, engineering, and explosives to create deadly devices. These bombs were designed to maximize destruction and cause severe harm, often utilizing intricate triggering mechanisms and disguised packaging to evade detection. Kaczynski's reign of terror spanned from 1978 to 1995, during which he sent a series of mail bombs that resulted in multiple injuries and deaths. The Unabomber's relentless and methodical attacks instilled fear, confusion, and a sense of vulnerability among the general public and the targeted institutions. The media, in their attempt to capture the essence of the perpetrator, coined the term Unabomber to refer to the unidentified bomber responsible for these series of bombings. The media's choice of the term Unabomber was derived from the FBI's codename of the investigation, Unabomb, which stood for University and Airline Bomber. The notoriety associated with the name Unabomber further intensified the public's fear and sense of unease, as the attack seemed to be an ever-present threat. As the bombings persisted, the Unabomber sought to amplify his message by sending a series of letters, along with a 35,000-word manifesto to media outlets and prominent individuals. These letters served as a chilling glimpse into the motivation and ideological underpinnings driving his violent campaign. The Unabomber's manifesto, titled Industrial Society and Its Future, also known as the Unabomber Manifesto or the FC Manifesto, short for Freedom Club Manifesto, provided a comprehensive exposition of his anti-technology and anti-industrialization ideologies. This meticulously crafted document outlined his belief that modern technological advancements and industrial society were leading to the degradation of human freedom, individual autonomy, and the erosion of nature. Within the manifesto, the Unabomber expanded upon his views on the negative consequences of technology, emphasizing the dangers of its increasing pervasiveness in everyday life. He argued that the relentless pursuit of technological progress and the accompanying loss of personal agency were contributing to a dehumanized and alienating existence, where individuals were reduced to mere cogs in the machinery of a pervasive and all-encompassing system. The Unabomber's manifesto was a crucial piece of evidence that provided insights into his radical worldview, allowing law enforcement agencies and the public to better understand his motivations and the ideological foundations of his acts of domestic terrorism. The FBI, recognizing the potential significance of the manifesto in identifying the Unabomber, made the controversial decision to publish it in the hopes of generating leads and identifying the author. The publication of the manifesto in 1995 garnered significant media attention and sparked a nationwide discussion on the complex relationship between technology, society, and individual freedoms. The controversial decision to publish the manifesto was accompanied by a plea from the FBI for the public's assistance in identifying the author, which ultimately led to his capture. Despite the Unabomber's cunning and ability to evade capture, law enforcement agencies from different jurisdictions collaborated diligently, determined to unravel the mystery surrounding his identity. However, the Unabomber's ability to avoid detection posed significant challenges for investigators. His meticulous planning, careful selection of targets, and sophisticated bomb-making techniques thwarted their initial attempts to identify and apprehend him. However, a breakthrough in the investigation occurred in 1995 when the Unabomber sent his manifesto to media outlets. Recognizing similarities between the manifesto's content and his brother Theodore's writing style, David Kaczynski grew suspicious and began to harbour concerns that his brother may be the Unabomber. Driven by his suspicions, David contacted the FBI and shared his observations, becoming a pivotal figure in the investigation. The authorities took David's concerns seriously, and a careful analysis of the manifesto and Theodore's writings ensued. Linguistic experts and forensic analysts meticulously compared the writing style, language patterns, and themes present in the manifesto with known samples of Theodore's writing. On April 3, 1996, a dramatic conclusion to the extensive manhunt for the Unabomber finally unfolded, as Theodore Kaczynski's reign of terror reached its end. Law enforcement agents, armed with a search warrant, descended upon his remote cabin nestled in the wilderness of Lincoln, Montana. Kaczynski's cabin, which he had constructed using primitive techniques and materials, served as both his residence and a makeshift lab for his destructive pursuits. Upon entering the cabin, authorities discovered a grim scene that unveiled the true extent of Kaczynski's activities. The secluded space functioned as Kaczynski's workshop, where he meticulously crafted and assembled his deadly devices. The investigators found a vast array of tools, including soldering equipment, electrical components, wires, and various chemicals used in bomb construction. Investigators uncovered fragments and remnants of past bombings, including bomb components, packaging materials, and remnants of exploded devices. These tangible pieces of evidence confirmed Kaczynski's direct involvement and provided crucial forensic links to the bombings that had terrorized the nation for years. Beyond the physical evidence, the search also revealed an array of personal belongings and writings that provided insights into Kaczynski's mindset and motivations. Journals, diaries, and handwritten notes shed light on his anti-technology ideologies, his disdain for modern industrial society, and his deep-rooted grievances against the perceived erosion of individual freedom. The discovery of the cabin's contents and the wealth of evidence collected within it were instrumental in building a strong case against Kaczynski. The findings not only confirmed his involvement in the bombings, but also served as a chilling testament to the meticulous planning and calculated nature of his acts of terror. The arrest at Kaczynski's remote cabin in Montana marked the end of a chapter in American history characterized by fear and uncertainty. It brought closure to the victims and their families, and allowed the legal process to unfold as Kaczynski faced trial for his heinous crimes. Following his arrest, Theodore Kaczynski faced a legal reckoning as he was charged with a series of bombings that had plagued the nation for nearly 2 decades. The trial proceedings aimed to shed light on the extent of Kaczynski's carefully orchestrated attacks, revealing the chilling nature of his destructive acts and the profound consequences they had on the victims and their families. The trial proceedings, held in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of California, commenced on November 12, 1997. Kaczynski faced 10 charges relating to his bombings, including multiple counts of transportation, mailing, and the use of explosives to commit murder and injury. The charges encompassed a number of specific incidents, each representing a separate act of domestic terrorism. As the trial unfolded, the prosecution meticulously presented evidence, including bomb fragments, explosive devices, and other physical evidence recovered from Kaczynski's cabin, linking him directly to the bombings. They also introduced a wealth of forensic evidence, including fingerprints, DNA analysis, and handwriting comparisons, further solidifying the case against him. Witness testimonies also played a pivotal role in illustrating the devastating impact of Kaczynski's bombings. Survivors of the attacks, as well as family members of those who lost their lives, provided emotional and harrowing accounts of the physical and psychological trauma inflicted by the bombings. Their testimonies underscored the profound and lasting repercussions these acts of violence had on the victims and their loved ones. Throughout the trial, Kaczynski's defense team presented arguments challenging his mental state and competency. They sought to portray him as mentally ill, contending that his actions were driven by untreated psychological disorders rather than calculated malice. The defense team aimed to mitigate his culpability and seek a lesser sentence, focusing on the possibility of a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia. Despite this, on January 22, 1998, a high-profile and widely publicized trial concluded as Theodore Kaczynski shocked the world by pleading guilty to all charges against him. This plea came as a surprise to many, as it meant bypassing a potential trial by jury and opting for a plea agreement. By accepting the plea, Kaczynski sought to avoid the death penalty, and in exchange he received a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. On June 10, 2023, Theodore John Kaczynski was found unresponsive in his prison cell. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead at the age of 81, having served over 25 years in prison. At the time, he was suffering with late-stage cancer, and the cause of his death is believed to be suicide. Thanks for watching. Do you think the Unabomber's extreme actions shed light on valid concerns, or were his concerns completely misguided? Let us know in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about the Unabomber, I have included links to further reading in the video description, or you can scan the QR code on screen. This includes an actual copy of the Unabomber's manifesto, which has been made available to purchase. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest episodes. We really do appreciate it.